Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to Elan's Matchup Maximizer, a podcast presented by Keegan Carlson, where I, Elan Dubrovsky, take a look at next week's NHL schedule to try to help you make the most of your head-to-head matchups by getting the most games played from players who are going to hopefully help make a difference. I am recording this after coming back from a party on Saturday. My voice is a little bit, not at its best because the music was loud and I was talking way too loud. I shouldn't have done it. I should have thought ahead, but I figured I got home now. It's like 12:45. I should definitely be asleep, but I'm going to try to knock out this Matchup Maximizer podcast so that people can, make the ads they need to make on Sunday so that you can be successful in week 5. Can you believe it? 4 weeks down. And here we go, getting into the meat of the fantasy hockey season. And finally, it looks like next week's matchup is going to be a little bit less relentless than it's been in the past. We've got a few teams with decent schedules. It's not just everyone playing only on the busy days and like 2 teams to look at otherwise. There's going to be on Monday, 8 teams playing. Wednesday, 6 teams playing. Friday, 12 teams playing. And then Sunday, 10 teams playing. So we've got a few to choose from. And then we've got the busy days on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Tuesday's the lightest. 20 teams playing. You might be able to fit someone in. You probably will be able to, right? That's not too many teams. So take a look. Thursday's a little bit busier. 22 teams playing. And then for Saturday, 24 teams playing. So that's going to be the day where it's going to be tricky to fit people in. But you may even be able to, depending on your matchup. Because it's not 32. It's 24. Okay, but the best schedule of the week for sure goes to the Florida Panthers because they play all 4 light days: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. That's a very good schedule. It's also against teams that maybe they'll be able to score some goals against: Columbus, Washington, Carolina, and Chicago. So 3 teams that might not make the playoffs there. So yeah, Florida is definitely the team we're going to be looking at to start this podcast. The Panthers, I'm taking a look now. Again, I've been away all night, okay? Took a night for myself. I apologize. But I'm looking now. I see the Blackhawks beat the Panthers 5-2. What an upset. And the Panthers, Barkov got a point. Kachuk got a goal. OEL, I guess he's back. He scored a goal. Mahura had an assist. But overall, this looks like it was a night big on the Blackhawks. Wow, Nick Foligno, power play goal. He's also been playing on the top line. I see. Maybe he's someone to look at. Though Chicago's schedule is not very good next week. So I guess you can wait before you grab Nick Foligno. But okay, we're talking about the Florida Panthers. And if we take a look at the line combos from this game on Saturday, they were rolling with, of course, Sam Bennett out again. That's a bummer. Barkov, Verhaeghe, and Kachuk. That's not what I was expecting to see, actually. It's been Barkov with Reinhart and Evan Rodriguez for a while. So they really switched things around. Clearly it didn't work. Reinhart with Luostarinen and Lundell. What is going on in Florida? I think this is just a situation now where it's going to be kind of hard to predict what the lines are going to be going into next week after this kind of embarrassing loss to a team they should have beat. If you look at the players that are less than 50% rostered, there's not too many options. You've got OEL at 15%. So we're still waiting for Montour and Ekblad. I guess you grab OEL, who's still been manning the top power play, at least as of this last game. And like I said, he did score a goal for what it's worth. So if you can get OEL for these 4 games, that seems like a reasonable ad. Not like a guarantee. Like, I'm not saying I'm like super excited about him to have like a huge week. I think maybe if anything, Anton Lundell looks a little bit interesting. No points in this game today against Chicago, but I see he took 3 shots, 5 shots in each of the previous 2 games, and it's not a bad spot to be playing with Sam Reinhart on this line with Eetu Luostarinen and Reinhart. And even if the lines kind of go back to what I was expecting them to be going into tonight, that would be Lundell taking Bennett's spot, centering Kachuk and Verhaeghe, which isn't a bad spot either. So I think Lundell is a pretty good bet. I'm taking a look at what the top power play was today. Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Kachuk, and OEL. So so you're not going to be able to get any of these guys except for Ekman Larsson potentially. So you're going to want to take a look at Anton Lundell if he's available to you, and you could get 4 games, drop someone who has like 0 off day games. There's a lot of teams that just play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So if you have someone like from Colorado or from Detroit, that like, if you take a look, obviously, like again, with this podcast, I always recommend before you even listen to this, go set your roster for the week and check out where you have the empty spots and where you're full. But if you're already full on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and you have a Detroit player on your bench every single day, kind of like a no-brainer, right? To go grab like an Anton Lundell, get 4 games. That's pretty huge. But okay, so outside of Florida, there are some teams. Well, there's one team actually that plays 3 off-day games. So next up, let's take a look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, who go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday. So you could always drop the Leaf that you add going into Saturday to get someone else. Of course, the question is, who are you going to add from Toronto? A notoriously difficult team to stream from because, they have their stars and then they have everyone else. I'm seeing today they lost 6-4 to Buffalo. And if you look at who had the big games, Austin Matthews with a hat trick, classic. Marner, a goal, 3 assists, also classic. And then no one else really did anything of note. You take a look at like the other people who are playing on these top lines on Toronto. I see Tyler Bertuzzi, who was playing with Nylander and Tavares. You'd think that would be a good spot, but Bertuzzi had no points. Okay. Then you look at, so Matthews had a hat trick and Marner had 4 points. Who was playing with them? Calle Yarncroc. He's going to be available in a lot of leagues. He had a single assist in the 4 Leafs goals, which were all, I guess, contributed by Matthews and Marner. So yeah, you can go grab a Calle Yarncroc. Not too exciting. Or you can grab a Tyler Bertuzzi. Honestly, this is kind of like a bummer because you have a team with a really good schedule and I really don't see an ad. Like Bertuzzi was benched for a lot of the games earlier this week. I'm not sure what happened today, but like in general, I'm just not excited about anyone on Toronto, not on the top line. So honestly, yeah, if you could get an Anton Lundell, I'll take him over any of these highly rostered players on the Leafs. And man, after that, then we just have a bunch of teams that have, a couple light day games. So we can look through them. And I guess I'll do that in just a sec. I'll take a quick break and we'll be right back on Matchup Maximizer. All right, we are back, and I probably haven't given you too much great advice so far today. I was looking in general at the schedule, and it looked pretty good. But there's a lot of teams that play 4 times, so even though we're looking at like the light day games, like I said, there's no days where the schedule is super full. So maybe you might be able to just grab someone who plays 4 times and get like 3 or 4 of their games. So let's go through the rest of the teams that play 4 times that I haven't mentioned yet, starting with Columbus, who plays 4 times next week and also has 4 games in a lot of the upcoming weeks. So Columbus has a really great schedule coming up. So you might want to take a look at a bunch of Blue Jackets, and there's a bunch of them available to you. Of course, it's tricky to predict who's going to hit on these teams. Like, you've got Gaudreau at 80% rostered. Laine's injured anyways. Werenski, Boone Jenner's probably taken your league. After that, like a lot of these guys might be available. And so let's take a look at what the deployment was for today's game for Columbus, where they lost 2-1 to Washington. And again, maybe that's not even that valuable considering that they lost, and maybe they're going to have to switch things around yet again. Like you had Kirill Marchenko, who was benched for a couple games. He comes back in a game ago, scored a goal. Today he had an assist and 4 shots. So like I'm kind of interested in Kirill Marchenko, but at the same time, who knows if he's going to get benched again. So he's kind of like a buyer beware, but there's a potential great upside. Marchenko was playing with Adam Fantilli and Dmitry Voronkov. Voronkov is someone, by the way, if you've listened to some Keeping Karlsson podcast, he was like a prospect that I was kind of interested in going into the year. So it's cool to see him hitting. He scored a goal today. So I like this line. So I don't know. You could go for Voronkov if Marchenko and Fantilli are taken, but I would definitely order them. Fantilli, then Marchenko, then Voronkov of the guys to go for on that line on the top power play today. Jenner, Gaudreau, Roslovic, Marchenko, and Werenski. So yeah, Marchenko's like in a pretty decent spot if he'll stay in the lineup. So he's a swing, but it could hit. Columbus plays Monday, then Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So 2 off-day games, and then take a look if you could fit him in also on the Thursday and Saturday. I guess the other obvious name to point out is the guy playing with Gaudreau and Jenner, and on the top power play, Jack Roslovic. He's burned me like a bunch of times. I don't feel confident recommending him, so I won't, but I'm just naming him as someone in a good spot, at least in the last game. You go to the Dallas Stars. I hate talking about Dallas on this podcast. I don't have faith in anyone on Dallas that's not on the top line or the top power play. So, they got shut out today, actually, by the Canucks. So, huge game for Thatcher Demko, 27 saves. So, get a Tyler Seguin, get a Wyatt Johnston, Matt Duchene. Like, I'm sure, like, in 4 games, you'll get something from one of them. But I'm not expecting too much. So, yeah, but yeah, Dallas has a good schedule, but again, no one to get super excited about. Then we have the Minnesota Wild. So today they had Matt Boldy back in the lineup. Let's take a look at kind of how that worked out. Boldy was playing with Kaprizov and Marco Rossi. So a whole new top line. Hartman bumped from the top line. Zuccarello, I guess, bumped from the top line. Also, if you look at the top power play, it was Johansson, Boldy, Kaprizov, Rossi, and Joel Eriksson Ek. No defensemen. Though Jared Spurgeon might be back next week, so he'll probably bump someone. I'd guess he would bump Marcus Johansson. This power play didn't score any goals. They did take 8 shots, so it looks like they had some chances. So I wonder, maybe I guess Marco Rossi is the other person who could be vulnerable on that power play, so you'll definitely have to check the line. So if you want to make an ad, at the end of this week, before next week, Minnesota won 5-4. And obviously a lot of players got some points. Boldy, by the way, got an assist. So that's cool to see. Ryan Hartman still scored a goal, even though he's off the top line. Marcus Johansson with an assist. Kaprizov, I don't know. Zuccarello, a goal and assist after being demoted. So I think Marco Rossi scored a goal. So there's a lot of interesting potential players. And again, we don't know. But I guess the guy that I'll throw out there is Marco Rossi, right? Top 10 pick. He is currently, at least in this last game, and who knows what's going to happen, but if Rossi sticks with Kaprizov and Boldy on the top line and also on the top power play, he's available in a lot of Yahoo leagues. Minnesota plays 4 times next week: Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. Again, you obviously got to check your roster, but if you could fit him in for one of the Tuesday and Thursday, you'll definitely be able to fit him in on the Friday and Sunday. Might be potentially like your top streamer available to you just because of his deployment and his pedigree. So yeah, definitely take a look at Marco Rossi. He's probably available, only 6% rostered on Yahoo. He's super interesting. Also take a look at Jared Spurgeon, by the way. If he's in free agency right now because people couldn't fit him into IR, I wouldn't be surprised if he quarterbacks a top power play. Clearly, if Kalen Addison couldn't secure the job, even like with no other defenseman, like he lost out to a 5-forward power play, then that seems like Jared Spurgeon should be able to step in and take that job. So if he comes back, he could get into a really good spot. By the way, Joel Eriksson Ek, a goal and 7 shots in this game versus the Rangers. Jonathan Quick, I think I mentioned Jonathan Quick on a recent podcast and how he was looking pretty good. Obviously not a great result today. Next up, Montreal Canadiens play 4 times, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's not the most amazing schedule, but it is 4 times for what it's worth. I see today that Juraj Slavkovsky got himself onto the top line for the Habs. That's pretty exciting. And he even scored a goal. So all of a sudden, Slavkovsky, who knows they lost 6-3 to Minnesota, a team that has been really bad this year until they got a chance to play against the Habs. So I don't know if this is going to stick, what they're going to do, but if Slavkovsky sticks on the top line, he also had 4 shots, which isn't too shabby. So yeah, he's someone to look at. Of course, he wasn't on the top power play on Montreal. If you want to grab a top power play guy, you're looking at obviously Suzuki and Caulfield, who aren't available, and then Sean Monahan, Josh Anderson, and Mike Matheson. So your regular expected guys. Monahan had an assist today. Josh Anderson kind of never does anything, no matter what his deployment is. So I guess you can go for him. I wouldn't expect too much. So yeah, probably the most exciting people on Montreal. Honestly, I would go Monahan. After Caulfield and Suzuki, I think Monahan is my third choice, and then maybe you go Slavkovsky for the upside. Obviously, first overall pick, and he did score this goal today. The San Jose Sharks play 4 times next week. Oh my God. Is this team going to win a game this year? I don't know. They're getting destroyed by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Is this game over yet? Yeah. 10-2 final. And San Jose also got destroyed in their last game. This is getting to be a case where really I should be doing this podcast just recommending the teams playing San Jose. It's going to be Philly, Edmonton, Vegas, and Anaheim. So you're going to want to load up on those teams on the days that they're playing the Sharks. This is just a really brutal team. I have Erik Karlsson, only 2 assists out of 10 goals. Come on, Karlsson. You should have 5 points or 6. So frustrating. Anyways, so I have to recommend someone on San Jose. Tomas Hertl had 2 assists. That's nice to see. After he was pointless for a while because San Jose couldn't score a goal. They scored 2 goals today, and Hertl got assists on both of them. Not surprising. So yeah, he's been probably dropped in a lot of leagues. Like I said, San Jose plays 4 times next week. You could take a shot on Hertl. That's the only person on San Jose I would be interested in. So we can move right along. Tampa Bay Lightning go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Always nice to stream someone who plays Monday. Then if you have a spot on Tuesday also, you can get that Monday, Tuesday, which is pretty sweet. I guess the sweetheart of the season so far has been Nick Paul, who surprisingly took that top power play spot over Brandon Hagel. Like a lot of people thought it would be Hagel on the top power play. Tampa's coming off a big 6-4 win over Ottawa today. No points for Nick Paul. It was just a big game for the obvious guys. Braden Point, 3 goals, 1 assist. Kucherov, 1 goal, 4 assists. Korpisalo looks like he got pulled, letting in 3 goals on 20 shots. So yeah, I guess for recommending someone on Tampa, even though Nick Paul got no points, I mean, of the people who are going to be available to you, give me Nick Paul, right? Like he's on the top power play. Everyone else is going to be taken. No one else is jumping out to me. So yeah, it's a pretty good schedule for the Monday, Tuesday. Grab Nick Paul, probably drop him after that. Toronto and Montreal are those games. Chicago on Thursday could be an opportunity to score, though that wasn't the case, like I said earlier, for Florida. But yeah, you would think that Tampa's going to be able to score some goals in that game. But yeah, I think Nick Paul's the clear guy to go for on Tampa if you want to get the Monday, Tuesday. I already mentioned Toronto playing 4 times. I guess our last team here was the Vancouver Canucks. Man, do I wish I drafted Quinn Hughes when I could have. For a few rounds. Man, he's having such an incredible season. Obviously, he's not available. If you look at Vancouver right now, so okay, their schedule is Monday and then Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So you get the Monday game against Edmonton. If you can fit also that Ottawa game on Thursday, then you're looking pretty good for the week if you stream in a Canuck. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get any of like Hughes, Pedersen, Miller, Kuzmenko, probably not Besser. Ilya Mikheyev only 10% rostered on Yahoo. He had another point today in the 2-0 win over Dallas. That's now a 3-game point streak for Mikheyev. He's on the top line. Like everything's looking good. Honestly, he might be the top streamer of the week. If you could get all 4 of these games or even 3 of them, Mikheyev, I'll take him over a Marco Rossi because I think he has a pretty locked in spot on this top line. Things are going really well for the Canucks, really well for that top line. So yeah, for Trev, who's keeping track of my takes last week, by the way, I said Bobby Brink was my streamer of the week. And in the games that Brink would have gotten in for you, like today, Brink did nothing against LA. But, the point was not to get him today anyways. You weren't going to be able to fit him in on this super busy Saturday. But on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, nothing for Monday, Wednesday. Did have a goal and an assist on Friday, for what it's worth. I don't know if you count that as a win. Count that as maybe a push, if anything. But maybe better than another streamer you would have gotten that would have only gotten 1 or 2 games for you, getting a goal and an assist. But yeah, this week, throw me at Ilya Mikheyev as my streamer of the week. If you can fit him in, you'll get your 2 off days for sure on Monday, Sunday, and hopefully you can fit also on a Thursday or Saturday. So hopefully this was useful to people. I am recording this with not much of a voice. I've had a few drinks. I'm very tired. But hopefully it was still worth it to get this show out. I guess let me know if I should have just taken this week off if you didn't think it was that good. But yeah, good luck to everyone next week. I'll be back with you tomorrow for my mega show with Brian. I promise I'll be very well rested and prepared for that show. So talk to you then. Good luck, everyone. And happy streaming. See ya.